am going to commence with actual gaming content.
Woohoo.
Or better yet, hey, what happened last time? Do you guys remember?
Well, I've got some notes, but it's all to do with the crazy
With the crazy...
toys.
There was a combat with a frog. Everybody got hurt. Piles of toys. Steve's a bit wigged out because they come from this weird place called Barovia that nobody else has ever heard of.
They've helped us out.
We're going to take the toys back.
You left it where you were gonna put a bunch of toys into the bag of holding that Stiiv has been carrying around. Do you remember which toys they were?
They're in my bag of holding.
What toys are there?
Let's see, there's Clockwork Boy, Clockwork Wormling, Colorful Covered Wagon, Mesh Belt, 4 scraps of parchment, a Taraka deck, a toy dollhouse, a toy drum, a witchy ragdoll, and another witchy ragdoll.
And that Taraka deck, if I remember correctly, it is more like doll-sized.
I believe that was the case. It just specifies this appears to be a Taraka deck.
And I picked up a nifty quarterstaff at one of the toys dropped.
Yes, it was originally toy-sized, but when you picked it up, it expanded its dimensions to be proportional to your size.
And I put the final line in Discord.
You put the final what in Discord?
The final line of my notes from last session in Discord.
I was fully expecting them to all turn around and attack us. So.
Oh, I'm in the wrong chat, so this makes me, like, my confusion makes sense now. Because there's something about, what do you think Ham Slice would have thought of his hairline circa paralyzer? And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, right.
But that's superheroes notes.
Yeah, that's when we were going about rainbow butt monkeys to finger 11.
Toy danger.
Oh, jeez, Rich.
Go sleep for anyone else tonight, then?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to close that now. Right, we're good.
They were rag dolls, though. I don't know if that makes them less spooky or spookier.
No.
Kind of flopsy.
Still creepy.
The hair did probably look a bit human.
But they were made by
instead
Blinksy.
Of yarn.
Is no fun. Is no Blinksy.
Is no fun. Is no Blinksy. Okay, so you have. What have you been doing with the quarterstaff you picked up, Kymir?
Well, I was admiring it last session, sort of like, swooshing it around, doing like attack moves and just, trying to get a feel for it. Yeah.
Okay. And there was also a crush that you discovered, a gnarly baby bird. That Dave, your friend Dave, you ran some imps, and Dave, had infiltrated. He was being a shadow imp, I guess, and pretending to be with them so he could spy, but run into you guys, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a double agent," and tried to help you through fighting the imps that were invisible. A lot better invisibility than Dave has been historically. And he told you that gnarly baby bird was a Vrock, or a V-Rock, as I like to call it. It's not Freedom Rock, it's V-Rock. Turn it up, man.
Baby rock, do 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 do, baby rock.
And you left the bed alone, left the bedding alone, you left that back there. So just shoving. You didn't shove things that were oversized. You didn't put the sheets in the bag. You didn't put the junior alchemist table because that was a bit heavy. It was actual wood. There was a rocking giant. Maybe not full giant size, but it was like a giant on all fours. proportional to a human, like proportional to Stiiv in its execution as
Who now
a
has no belt and has his pants around his ankles.
yes. But thankfully, the rocking giant was wearing underpants that
Which,
did not
according
appear
to Shaefira,
magical.
are not about to say are not magical.
Thankfully.
Did not seem to have any power as an arcane focus.
Yeah, Rich is the only one that knew what she was on about then.
Yeah, she's the only one who recognized the potential
So
significance
on the ball
of
last
giant
week.
underpants.
Yep.
I was kicking myself when I heard the last episode. I was like, "What?" Sorry, I'm coughing. Just your standard allergies. I was outside coughing. Once you got out, this is kind of a little bit of a flashback because you've been reunited with Dave, and when last you encountered Dave, you were still at the Bloodroot Lizard Folk, their temporary colony, trying to engage in diplomatic relations. And you'd sent Dave back to Saltmarsh to give a report. First, to tell Anders Solmar about the Sawagan and that Saltmarsh didn't need to be all scared of the lizard folk, but they needed to be scared of the Sawagan. And you also told Dave to let you know who think the party was being murderized. So Dave is, oh boy, because you've humanized me. I talked to Anders, and I talked to you know who. And he's delivered all of your information that you wanted delivered. But also, I have election news.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, people were talking so much about elections. So much.
People tend to talk about erections.
Elections. There were, the dwarves from the mine, they were trying to push the paladin from the local Hux chapter. Do you know her? She got nominated, but they weren't impressed. Oh no. And then an old Corenberg Chronicle clipping surfaced with her picture, proving rumors that she had a goth face. And she was a member of the University Students for Vol. Yeah, people do things like that in college. But that's not a good look for a Silverflame Paladin, so she had to pull out of the political arena. And she retreated to Thorn or something for a period of reflection. So that's one person not in the race. Her name was Trinith or something. And then there was a scandal. Somebody went looking to see just what property Esteban Urkel owned. And they couldn't find any. It looked like he was doomed because nobody could find him for questioning. But his campaign manager, Barry, the tomato vendor, started a grassroots campaign petitioning for the landowner clause to be dropped.
Oh no.
And a shock vote, with only Eleander Farbor dissenting, the existing council all said yes! So Esteban's bounced back. Everybody love Esteban.
Dude.
The only people doing better than Esteban in the polls are Mr. Dory, who is making sense because he is her additional candidate. He runs the fish processing plant and people like fish. Yes, he's been nominated every election since before Anders Solmar was born, so maybe this is his year. Yeah, he always loses before. But people like him. They like fish. He's a little weird. But they like fish, and he's the fish guy. Also, there is a fisher guy named Tito. Do you know him?
Tito.
Tito, yeah. Fisher
Isn't that
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he emerged as progressive reform candidate. Once they took out the landowning requirements. And he's really popular with all of the people in the skies. As somebody who understands person on streets. Persons living on streets even, yeah. And there's even reports now that he's inheriting property from a friend who died. So nobody can say boo if he wins. So Tito, he's doing okay.
Good.
So it's Esteban, Mr. Dory, and Tito. They're the people at the front of the race. And people say boo to Oceanus. Oceanus is boo. Eva Olin put his name forward since he moved into her guest house and thinks him a little cozy there. But the only people voting for him are Olin's cronies and the elvophiliacs. Those are people who like elves. Elvophiliacs.
He's running on the
Sounds
kink
like an
demographic.
Dave looks at Kerithlana. Nobody nominated you. I think they're confused. I think they think you're a friend of Oceanus. They don't want any more Oceanuses nominated. You're not
That's
running for
okay.
office.
I'd only screw it up anyway.
Nobody nominated me either. I'm a little sad about that. I don't have any friends except you. Everybody else treats me
That
like
could
an
be
imp.
because you didn't have a name at the time, though.
Oh, maybe I should tell everyone I am Dave. I am
Go
humanized.
for it.
I can run for office too.
Oh, why not? They've got rid of the property thing. Go for it.
Yeah! And Dave looks at Shaefira and says, the local halfling population, which is small, seems to have banded together to nominate Shaefira, even though none of them could give her last name, so it just says Shaefira on the campaign signs.
Shaefira.
Word on the street, everybody apparently is her favorite drinking buddy at the local Saltmarsh taverns. So she's doing okay in pools. Not as good as Esteban, but she's doing okay.
So you're saying Shaefira is good on the poll?
Yeah, she's good on pools. Kymir, you were nominated too. You remember that?
Unfortunately, so.
You're not doing badly on pools either. Your main support as a candidate seems to be from Eleander Fireborn and the town guard, so you're maybe not as popular.
Well, that's a shame.
But the long arms of the law like you, so hey, that's fun.
Good to know.
Lastly, when the land ownership rule was suspended, a goblin named Paco came out of the woodwork. And he managed to get nominated. I don't know how. He is a dark horse candidate, but people seem to respond to his "You're a tasty friend" slogans. So that is the political climate of Saltmarsh and the end of my report. And Dave bows. He's like, I did my job.
Give him a round of applause. Which is difficult to do with push to talk.
So this was like after your rest. But let's flash back. Just a little bit more. You took a short rest after you dealt with the imps and dealt with the Vrock and rummaged through the nursery's toys. Well, everybody was kind of tending to their wounds and recovering, doing their periods of meditation. Stiiv,
Yes.
out of the corner of your eye, in the direction of the wormling crash that you had unfortunately discovered the gnarly baby bird earlier, you see tentacles emerge, spectral tentacles, flailing and winding, that are not Toby. And one of them beckons you.
Does it appear that anyone else has noticed the?
No one else notices it. You like look, you look at everybody else. They're going about their business.
I will surreptitiously slide towards the tentacle in an attempt to not draw attention to myself in the middle of the room.
And then you hear a whisper in your head, a voice that you've heard before that talks to you often. But the first time you heard it was as you plunged beneath the waves when you were drowning and you made a deal with an entity that granted you power. That moment when, as you drowned, your dragon mark erupted. And the voice whispered, Stiiv, are you listening?
Yes.
I am the whisper. I am the drowning. Are you my witness? Are you my servants?
I think so.
And in between the words, you hear other voices like, and you could pick in on the individual words, but the language behind them is just sounds that are guttural and make no connection to words that you understand the meaning of. And the voice whispers, You touched the page. I felt it in your fingers. Where is the page?
It's with a gatekeeper person.
Find it, Stiiv. Keep it safe for me.
Okay.
I have a purpose.
God, I can do that.
You touched an artifact.
What's the artifact?
You touched it with your hands.
The page?
The artifact.
The artifact.
You're frightened by it.
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff in
But
there
you
I'm
should
frightened by.
not fear power, Stiiv.
Okay.
What
Is anyone?
is what?
I was just gonna say, is he just like having a conversation with a tentacle that no one else can see, and no one else is reacting to the fact that he's just talking into
I was
empty
going to
space?
ask, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
It's just like he's just having a conversation in empty
Well,
space, and
Stiiv, if you gather yourself, you know from when you were drowning in the ocean waters that if you concentrate really hard, when this voice enters your head, you can answer back with your thoughts.
okay, so he's just staring into
He might be squinting
empty
more
space.
than usual, but he doesn't have to actually vocalize. If he's getting flustered,
So Kymir can look up and go,
and I mean, if you want to do some kind of check to see if you're like emitting, if you're like talking rather than concentrating really hard, that you're free to do that.
Let's see, what would that even be?
Wait, what is the concentration check in 3.5? Now I've forgotten.
It's a con save.
Is it a con save? So I would say either con or wisdom.
Poorly.
So yeah, you might be saying something here or there, like you're talking to yourself.
that's all right. That was perception, and that sucks. So I don't take any notice.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to like roll perception, you can. So Shaefira, you've noticed that Stiiv seems to be talking to himself kind of off to the side. But roll an insight.
It's just Stiiv being weird.
Yeah, this doesn't seem really unusual to you compared to how Stiiv normally acts.
I figured.
Yeah, Steve's kind of weird. And the voice continues to whisper in his head. I will drown you again yet, Stiiv. Serve me as you shall. More secrets.
Okay, I can do that.
There are many ways to be consumed. Look at the others. I can see them through your eyes. The tentacle. Tobata. Brought great power in the halfling. But she is too young for the net. All of your companions are too fresh for me. They must rot with us a little longer. And you feel like your focus is being forced to the other members of the party as they rest and recuperate. And you get this sense that this creature, this elder that you've known only as the Whisper and the Drowning, is fully aware of everyone that you travel with. And then you hear the Whisper say, "One of my other servants is here. You may encounter them. Be not afraid." Are you afraid, Stiiv?
Always a little bit.
Good. Your breath is my breath. Your eyes are my eyes. Come. See greatness. And then, Stiiv, a vision overtakes you of a large subterranean hall. You see fragments of familiar jade, but you can't tell if this is the ruins in which you're now standing or another accommodation from a similar time. The scene is broken into shards. It's as if you're watching it in the reflection of a broken mirror. There are humanoids, prostrate before a fiendish figure with pearlescent and bloodied scales and curling horns, and a gaping maw of teeth that spans the width and breadth where other creatures have faces. This fiend begins to bite at the humanoids, rending them in two and swallowing them down. And then the fractal walls of this place of rendering. In your vision, they begin to stretch, and the walls themselves become teeth. The floors and pillars shake, and in a pulse reminiscent of a flexing sinew, the entire scene is consumed down a visceral throat. And then there's darkness. And then you hear like these faint whispers in your head, like a chorus of echoes, just saying, farewell, farewell, I am watching. And that was your nap, Stiiv. So back we are in the present time. You've discussed the pieces of toy that you have gathered from the nursery, and the plan is to return to Farron and Gary and be like, hey, we got your toys.
I believe that was the case.
As I recall, that was the only reason Stiiv left the bag open, because there was the very thin argument that we were going to take them back to Gary, even though they were in his room to begin with or without the stick, maybe.
Yeah. I feel it would be bad for me to steal the quarterstaff because, I'm a monk. I'm not supposed to do that kind of thing.
So, how are you traveling?
Quickly?
Like, are you using excessive stealth? Are you going back the way that you came?
I mean, we pretty much cleared out the route here. We can just...
I take it there's no exit south of this room.
There's no exit directly south of this room. You can go back the way that you came, and then and head south some more back into where you were before. There were a lot of hallways. There were some smaller rooms, and you didn't explore all of them. You kept a pretty direct route to where you like encountered the Belazao, I think it was, or something, some kind of demon on the bridge. And you did cross over like a walkway where there seemed to be a very long drop to either side.
Straight back the way we came.
It was a pretty extensive hallway, if one was concerned about hallways. But you had no problems passing it before.
It's tempting, but we were specifically told just to stick to the path. And I don't think that instruction's changed.
Yeah, and didn't Gary say something about like if you went one way that you might run into like the remains of his sister, and that would be a bummer?
Possibly.
Yeah, he did say that was the one, like, I think it was to the west was, where Daddy and Sis were mauled and killed, and that would suck. I'm scrolling back.
Yeah, I'm quite happy not to borrow trouble on that one.
Same.
I forgot to fix this before.
Demons attacked from a portal in the Great Pool and killed his father and abducted his mother. Gary's toy is named Rufus.
Okay, cool. So you head back the way that you came, traveling south through the hallway that you traversed previously. Roll stealth checks and perception.
Dirty 20. But doesn't see anything.
So, except for Kerithlana, You all manage to be quite sneaky, traveling through the hallways. Dave remembers to go invisible. He's flying along with you until you tell him to get lost or do something else.
I don't know. Here's a good invisible method warning system.
So he's an invisible little imp again. Just flying, and apparently he was flying quite quietly. So the only sound that you hear as you travel south is a clink clink clank and giggle from Kerithlana's direction. It's business as usual. You don't spot any hazards as you travel. And without incident, you return to the room in the Bloodroot Groves where you left Farron, Castellar, and Kymir tending one of the trees, trying to clear it of the pestilence that has been corrupting this grove. So I'm moving you back to that map. Hopefully Stiiv can open it. Because I think this one is like the largest map of all the maps.
We shall find out.
And I will reshare. Maybe that will be better than trying to access it from your avatars.
Well, it opened okay for me, Stiiv, so.
Yep, I'm here.
So as you return here, you see that the tree looks like the leaves have already started to rebound. It's not drooping as much as when you left just a few hours ago. And while you can't tell from the map, the pools that were here before that were kind of a murky maroon color have started to regain a brighter color. Farron looks quite surprised to see you. He is no longer in the form of a saber-toothed tiger. And he exclaims, "I did not expect you back so soon. Are the fiends vanquished?"
No.
Then what are you doing here? Is the grove empty? Is the great pool safe for me to proceed and travel there to cleanse the grove properly?
I'd say no to that as well.
Have you been to the great pool?
No.
He looks over his shoulders like does anybody else get why this is weird?
Oh no, Steve's got his arms crossed, doing the Sonic the Hedgehog foot tap, looking at Kymir like, "Go on."
Stiiv, get him out.
What have you been doing?
I will hold the bag of holding open out like a trash bag and say, "There you go."
Kygrier, the wormling, was like, "Oh boy, you bring my toys?
If they are toys.
Did you get my alchemist set?"
No.
Oh,
There's just a whole wall of failure in this.
what?
It was,
But
it was too heavy.
did you get my Mad Maven doll? And my wagon? And my
Did the toys come out of the sack?
If you reach into the bag and know what's in there, you can pull it all out.
All right, then I'm going to reach into the sack and pull out all the toys that we put in previously.
And Gary notices that Kymir is holding the quarterstaff, and he's like, "Ugh, God, we found Kaiskas's stupid weapon. I hate drills. Drills are stupid."
Does that mean you don't want this? Because
Ugh.
I really like it. It's
No, I don't
very
want it
pretty.
because if I have it and I have to go to classes again, that means I'm gonna have to practice with it. I don't want to practice with it.
Well, now I'm torn, you see, because I feel
I
that he
want
should be
to
doing his lessons.
books, and I want to make potions, and I want to set stuff on fire. That's cool.
Okay, I tell you what. How about I borrow this while we're down here trying to sort everything out and get your mum back, and then we'll talk about whether or not you should be actually doing your lessons.
It is kind of a family heirloom, even if it's stupid. But yeah, you can borrow it. I don't care. Just, bring it back before I'm grown up. A couple centuries from now, it's fine. I don't think I can. I don't want to. I've got a life to live, and I don't want to have to spend it training with a stupid quarterstaff when I could be playing with the chemicals.
Okay, well, we couldn't get you your chemicals because obviously it's quite large and it's quite heavy, but we want you to make sure that it is for us.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
We did want to make sure that you weren't going to be bothering Ferrin while he's busy with growth.
I'm helping. I know all about helping.
I'm going to look at Ferrin and sort of like twitch an eyebrow.
He kind of shrugs and he looks a little bit rueful. Well, I have need an extra set of hands or talents is useful. You can tell he's kind of brown-nosing, though. He doesn't really believe what he's saying. But, it's not to him to, completely trash young dragon's hopes and dreams.
Okay, so we've grabbed what we can.
Gary sticks his head in the bag of holding, and he's like, "What else you got? What else you got?" And he pulls out the drum, and he's like, "I'll cool my drum!" And he throws it over his shoulder. And he pulls out the hoop. He's like, "Ah, my hula hoop!" And he drops it around his head and sticks his arms up, and you see the wormlings start swaying at his hips. And he's hula hooping. Yeah! Oh, that's fun!
Now,
and then 5 seconds later,
I'm
he's
thinking
bored.
the drum might have been a bad idea.
And then he sticks his head back in the bag of holding. And he's like, "Oh, book about naval history."
Yeah, that's not yours.
Can I keep it? Can I keep it? Look, a page is missing. It's not important. It's damaged. You don't need it.
Do you need it?
I like books. Books are great. Yeah.
Have a look at Stiiv. It's his book.
Not my book. It's the alchemist's book.
It's an alchemy book?
No,
Oh,
it's
boy.
someone who is named the alchemist.
You know an alchemist? I want to be an alchemist.
Well, he was named the alchemist, but he was actually kind of a necromancer wraith person and was kind of mean.
Oh, well, that's not my type of alchemist. Ooh, a barbed net! And he's starts pulling the barbed net out of your bag of holding, and he's getting all tangled up in it.
Yeah, you can have that, and they'll just close the bag. So he's got the bag or the barbed net, and then we'll just put, okay, that's
What else you got?
just boring things.
And supplies.
And yeah, well, those are supplies are boring with the kids.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
So he's got a hold of the Madame Ava doll, and the cards are back in her opposable grip, and he's like, what has she got?
What do you mean, what has she got?
He pulls the deck of cards out of her grip, and he's like, "This! Cards are stupid," and he throws them over his shoulder.
What, the cards?
And there's a pile of them on the floor. But now you notice the cards, when he picked up the deck, and threw them over his shoulder, they became larger.
Mm.
But I don't want those.
Why not?
They're not mine.
Who do
Cards
they
are
belong to?
stupid. My sister liked cards.
So were they hers?
I don't think so. I've never seen it before.
Alright, that's dodgy.
I will,
Stiiv, you hear a whisper in your head. The artifact.
I will quietly cast Mage Hand and use it to scoop the cards up together into a nice neat pile and put them back in the bag of holding. Taking care to only use the Mage Hand to touch it.
Gary's like, what else you got?
Just supplies. Nothing interesting.
Did I have more toys than this? I feel like I had more toys than this.
We haven't brought all your toys.
You only brought a couple of the good ones.
Alright, so I'm gonna kneel down in front of Gary and say, look, I realise that you want your stuff, but things are going on. We want to just make sure that you've got something to keep you entertained so you don't get bored and do anything silly. But there's important things that we need to take care of, like rescue your mother, so we can't spend all our time bringing you your toys. Do you understand?
I guess. It's been really hard. Do you think my mom is dead? Everybody else is dead. You're
I
not
don't
dead yet, though. That's good.
No, and I don't think they want your mum dead. I think they need her for something, so hopefully we can help her escape. But honestly, I can't promise you that.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, Gary.
Gary looks a little bit dejected, and you see he's like looks over at the wagon, the Barovian wagon that had the little clockwork wormling attached to it, and he seems to brighten his face. His face brightens a little bit. He's like, "Oh, this is good. This is a good toy." And he kind of walks up to the clockwork wormling that is the same size as he is. Well, probably smaller, I guess, technically. And he turns to you and he says, "Do you have any dragon shards?
Is that what we've got?
Or glitter? Glitter works too."
I think I lost all my glitter.
Ah, nuts.
Did we have a big barrel of it? I thought it got broken.
Baron
lost.
digs into his pockets, into his belt of components and herbs, and he pulls out a small pinkish sliver. And he's like, here you go, kid." And you see Gary give a little hop, like he's really excited, and he feeds the shard into the mouth of the construct wormling. And the wormling, the construct, grows larger and larger and larger until it's slightly bigger than Gary. And it lets out a little roar, and a little puff of green smoke comes out of its nose. And Gary just claps. He's like, "Wee, wee!" And he hops on the back of his wormling toy, and he starts riding him around the room.
I think that's our cue to leave when he's happy.
Yeah, I agree. Mm.
You hear a whisper in your head again, Stiiv. "Do you have the page?"
Stiiv will gingerly tiptoe over towards Farron and kind of over the back of his hand, kind of ask, "Hey, do you still have that codex page?"
Farron looks over his shoulder again. Like, get a load of this. Why would I not have the codex page?
Because we left it with you for safekeeping.
And I am keeping it safe. He pats his belt, his pouches of components and herbs, etc.
You see, the thing is, I don't think our fake is really that convincing since it's got a bunch of naval charts on it. So we might need it to help close some portals too. Yeah,
Roll some deception.
a skill I'm actually good at.
Ooh, that's rolling. 5 hours later.
Wow.
Okay. Farron's eyes kind of narrow, and he looks at you for a second, like he's really thinking about what you said. And then he gives a short nod. Okay. So what, you wanted to make another copy?
I mean, of course, we'll figure the portals are closed that they came through and all that. But I can't close portals. Not by myself, I mean.
Well, there's a time-honored tradition that gatekeepers and heroes of true courage engage in where portals are concerned.
Yeah, we got a gatekeeper with us. He points over at Kerithlana.
Yes,
Kerithlana just looks confused and stops scratching her bum.
knows how to close a portal.
Hey, you with a whoosh and it. Ooh. There's hand motions as well.
I mean, how hard could it be with an artifact of immense power?
No.
Kerithlana does know how to close portals, right?
Yeah, sure. Does it all the time.
Okay. So, I will give you the codex page temporarily, and you can make another copy, so that if you are apprehended by the fiends, you can fool them to thinking they have the real one.
That's the idea.
How long do you think this will take?
Eh,
You could do it here, yes.
well, there's better art. Actually, the alchemist set. Gary has some really good reagents in there for making like aging things. So I'd probably do it over there.
You hear
And there's
Gary
an
yell
actual
out,
table.
because he can hear everything with his dragony ears. He's like, you bet, that's why she brought it! Chemicals are great!
Chemicals are great.
Science! And Farron is opening up his ingredients pouch, and he's digging out the codex page, but he kind of like holds it open. He's like, are you sure there's nothing in here that you can use? I've got a lot of herbs.
Yeah, herbs. You'd have to do all sorts of stuff with it. And
There's a fragrant drowsehood here. Those are really helpful.
They smell funny.
What about this headsman beetle?
Is it alive?
No, it's the carcass. I'm not going to disrupt an ecosystem.
You're just carrying
I'm a druid,
just carrying around a dead beetle?
It's what gatekeepers do. And he looks at Kerithlana again. Gatekeepers carry around beetles, dead beetles. Don't they? Yes.
No, that's a
Kymir
druid
looks
thing.
at Kerithlana.
That really is a druid thing. We don't all do that.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the alchemy table, thanks.
But you'll bring it right back.
Once we're done with the portal.
If you take it to the portal, won't the fiends
We'll come.
be able to apprehend you?
Not if we kill them first.
I cannot risk the codex page falling into the hands of the fiends.
We've already murdered like a dozen of them getting here.
Roll persuasion. Yeah, Farron isn't really keen on this plan. Like, he's trying to see what why you're so keen on this, but he doesn't quite get it. And he's concerned about the safety of the codex page. What
I'm
are the rest
assuming
of you
we all
doing?
hear this as well.
What are the
Well,
rest of you doing while this conversation's going on?
Well, Kymir's going to be confused because I'm fairly sure we all agreed it was a bad idea to take the page with us. So he's going to be wondering why Stiiv is wanting to suddenly take it. Well, yes, that's true. Maybe we should ask Stiiv why he really wants the page. I'm going to look at Kerithlana and say, do you know why he wants the page? He has been acting a bit odd. I did notice him when we was in that other room where all the toys were, just being a bit odd, but I didn't think anything of it.
So, Stiiv, roll another deception. And everybody in the party, you can roll insight. Shaefira doesn't see the problem.
She never does.
It's fine. I mean, Stiiv probably has a good reason for whatever he's doing.
He wasn't being that weird. I mean,
No.
Yeah, he's weird, but usually there's a good reason for being weird. And you kids with marks gotta stick together. But Kymir and Kerithlana, you're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. But, at the same time, you're like, a lot of times, what these people do doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah, I figure it's a land walking thing. Yeah.
So you're willing to kind of give it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, like, yeah, maybe this is just some land thing that you don't understand. Kymir, you're like, this is so dodgy. It's dodgy as fuck. What is Stiiv on about?
Stiiv, what are you on about?
well, you see, remember in the other room where there was that nest with the baby rock in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, like just a few minutes ago, like a tentacle came out of it and started talking to me in my head and told me that we really needed to have the codex page before we could do anything else. And I'm supposed to be the guardian of the codex page, so we needed it when we fought the fiends. So we kind of need it back.
Stiiv, because you're actually telling the truth, roll persuasion. And Kymir, do another insight.
Oh,
Oof.
Roll again!
come on.
What? Ah!
Ah, finally.
Did you roll again, Kymir?
Yeah, I just rolled the same thing.
Oh, okay, you rolled another 13. Oh, that's why I'm so confused. Because it's all the 13ness.
Yep.
Alright, so you're like, oh, okay, so what? Stiiv has confused you, and so you have retreated like pretty much to state Kerithlana's in, that you're like, okay, maybe this is a thing that people who weren't raised in monasteries do. And maybe it's just because of your sheltered upbringing that you don't understand his logic here. But you can tell from his talk about tentacles and crushes and having visions that Stiiv seems to be really stressed right now. And
Yeah.
you conclude that you think it's because of the importance of this task and he's just trying to do a good job.
So do I not believe him about the tentacles, or do I think he's like having
You
PTSD or
don't
something?
you think that you don't think that they're really tentacles. You think that he thinks maybe there were tentacles, but you like this Stiiv is weird. You and Shaefira have talked about how weird Stiiv is.
Okay. That's why she walks over you every time, you know.
And you both have agreed that you think he looks at the world his own special Stiiv way. And you think this is like Stiiv trying to do the right thing. This is what you're thinking. He's trying really hard. And he's feeling strongly about it, and that maybe it's the right thing to just to support him since he's so passionate about it.
Okay. Fine. But
It
I
is
do feel
weird.
that we need to make sure it's very safe if we're going to take it with us to use it at some point, because the whole idea is not to get it close to the devils. So even though I might believe Stiiv thinks it's required to do whatever he needs to do, I'm still going to be concerned about putting it in proximity.
So maybe you don't want to just dump it in the bag of holding, but come up with an alternate
Yeah.
safety mode of carrying it to the back to the junior alchemist's bench.
Yeah. I mean, we can hide it in there or somewhere.
Well, we can put it inside. We have the fake, right? And then we put the real one where the fake was almanac.
All right. So can you make that look like a normal page in the almanac?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like I
I'm
should
hold
make
on.
you roll something, but I'm not gonna.
No, I'm gonna see how. No, I'm gonna see how long it lasts. Hold on. For 1 minute.
Oh, it's rude.
He puts the page in back in the almanac and minor illusion.
But it's a cantrip, so he can do that all day.
Yep. See, look, it's a page in the almanac.
It's just like spamming buttons in a raid.
That's the best way to do it.
It's the same way I can keep your horns lit up.
Gary's still riding his construct dragon, and you hear him call out like as he like gallops around. He's like, "Oh, you can buy Rufus! Whoa, whoa!" And he like fakes pausing his dragon and hops off, and he clacks across the floor towards you. Yeah, you can hide the page in Rufus. It worked well the first time.
Or we could do that. Put the page back in the dragon stuffy, mend it back
Yeah.
up, put the stuffy back
Yeah,
in the bag.
Gary will even do a mending for you if you want. If you don't want to have to do the
Depends on
needle
whether,
and thread.
because I mean
I
the
can do
crinkling was
mending.
kind of obvious when we realised what it could be. So I'm just thinking hiding paper inside more papers kind of seems like a good idea, but I'll go with the group consensus, whatever people think is the best.
I mean, I think putting it in the naval almanac makes more sense because I mean, you just look at it; it's a bunch of papers. So having more paper in it is like natural.
And with Rufus kind of dangling from his talons, Gary looks down and he's like running his toe kind of nonchalantly along the jade floor. He's like, hiding it in Rufus was good enough for my dad.
And your dad was very clever to think of it.
I mean, we did kind of figure it out in like 30 seconds.
But we're not going to tell him that.
You just heard it.
The fiends didn't notice. That's what's important.
That's true. Hey, there's a good point.
How about if we just take Rufus and say we're going to use him as a backup?
We could do that too.
Except Gary beams as he hands over Rufus. I'm helping. I'm a great helper, aren't I, Farron?
You were super
And
helpful.
the half-orc's like, yeah, you're a good helper, Gary.
All right, Gary, we're off to go save your mum.
Bye!
Wait, did he give us back the codex page?
Yeah, because you put it in the naval
Yeah,
thingy.
Farron did hand it over.
Okay.
He's still trying to push like moss on you and stuff though. Are you sure you don't need any glow clump moss?
Does it make you see things if
Maybe.
you eat it?
No. Well, it depends on how much. Not in this quantity. These are safe quantities.
No, then no.
He's squinting at you again. Okay. Hurry back, and if you run into fiendish trouble, don't be a hero.
That's not going to be a problem.
If you need reinforcements, come back and let me know.
Oh, I'm sure you'll hear us scream. Bye then.
And you hear, as you leave, you just hear this really heavy sigh. And then Gary's happy voice is kind of like, and you hear Farron be like, we need our indoor quiet library voices now. Okay. Oh, you did also notice when you were back that tree that Belly's body is no longer pittened into the trunk.
One would hope that would have been a priority.
Yes. So, you just saw that there was like a tarp, a hide over a body-sized little lump on the floor, laid out on the floor. Couldn't see what's underneath it. So, you have talked to Gary and Farron. What are you doing now? And does anyone need like a drink, bathroom, etc. break?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay, let's break for a couple of minutes. I'll refill my water, and we shall reconvene. And you can think about what you're doing now. Have I heard Dude back?
I'm back.
That would be everybody then.
I believe so.
With like all the people. So, now what?
See,
Do we have to go and cleanse the grovy thing?
That exactly.
Well, I think as soon as we get out of the room, I'm going to turn to Steve and say, should we stick the fake page in the plushie?
That's actually a really good idea.
Do have them occasionally. Not very often, but
Fake page in the bush?
plushie.
Oh, fleshy. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Fake page in the plushie. Plushie.
I swear
Wow.
I thought you said bush. Sorry.
I don't know where your mind is, Bonnie.
Well,
I'm
there's
sorry.
lots of trees. It's a grove. There are trees and shrubbery.
That's no. In the plushies, does anyone have mending?
I have mending.
Okay, good, because that would be really awkward, and I really don't want to go. So yeah, we'll just stick the fake page. Cut open the plushie, stick the fake page in there, and then mend them.
Yes.
You have mended the dragon plushie. Rufus is intact. He's crinkly again. Well, not as crinkly as the real page, but there's some crinkle there.
Okay.
Who is the most intelligent person in the party who isn't Stiiv?
That would be no one.
No, mine's 9.
Actually, it's Shaefira with a 10.
How
That's
smart? Wait,
debatable.
how smart is Kerithlana?
8.
I'm an 8.
Oh dear.
Stat.
We are a party of idiots.
Shaefira, you hear a voice in your head.
Oh.
It is a deep voice, and it's quite simple in what it says. The London, the fiends, they strike. They are breaking the seal. Stop them. They break the seal. Something terrible will unleash. Now, while this voice has been talking in your head, it does seem somewhat labored and breathy, like it's a great struggle. But I'm not good at doing that. And it was bad enough doing all the whispering before. I don't even know if you... I can't believe you actually understood anything I said. So we're not going to do that with all the whispering in people's head anymore. But this voice did call you a Galandan, like House Galanda.
Okay.
And there is the fiends. They are breaking a seal. It wants you to stop them. And whoever this is, they are struggling to... They sound like they're struggling to say this much.
Oh, and if the seal is broken, it's bad.
Mhm.
And the last thing they say to you is, watch out. Protect my son. And then the voice in your head goes silent. Unlike the voice in Steve's head.
Constantly on.
um.
Everyone's like,
She's actually talking to me. She's trying to decide whether or not she wants to tell the rest of the party or if she thinks she's crazy.
Yeah, I could maybe tell Kymir because, like, he's my friend.
beckon for Kymir to like lower his
Yeah.
horns so you can like do some whispering.
Yeah, I whisper everything that I've just heard to Kymir, and go, "Do you think I should tell the rest of the party?" But I don't. Where are we going now? Are we? Well,
Well, I believe the seal is something to do with where we're going, so maybe it just makes things a bit more urgent, assuming that this voice is telling the truth. Do I know what this Galandan is? I mean, I'm assuming I'd know the house.
Well, that depends. How Shaefira, how secretive? I think you were kind of hiding your dragon mark a little bit.
a little bit, yeah. But then didn't it come? It came out.
It certainly came out. It erupted while your party was around.
Yeah.
But you haven't really been openly like, hey, got mocked now.
Yeah.
You've been wearing gloves. And since it's a lesser mark and it's like low on your wrist, it's easy enough to shield it from obvious view. So it's not necessarily the forefront of everybody's mind, I guess.
But we do know about her jam.
You
We
do know about her
do.
jam. She makes incredible jam, and it's only recently that her cooking abilities, except in the area of eggs. Eggs are a bit rough still. But otherwise, she could probably out-chef Chef Perkins. And that seems to have come on recently. But I mean, how much do you know about dragon marks and House Galanda, Kymir?
Well, I'm assuming that Dragon Marks is something that I could potentially have studied at the monastery.
You've
'Cause
heard
it's-
of House Galanda.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everybody's heard of the houses and those names. Now, how much Shaefira has actually talked to you about her marks since it came out?
She just told me she had a rash.
Okay.
Too much
So
jam.
she's definitely been playing it down, maybe sometimes taking advantage of the power that came with its appearance, and using those skills that have really developed lately. But she's not talking about it openly. Is that right?
Mm. It's up to you. What do you want to do?
Well, since we're heading that way anyway,
Then,
we could I just keep it to myself.
but you have
for the
told
time.
me. You have told me.
I've told you. Yeah.
All right. And then maybe I'll just say, okay, then maybe we should just say, come on guys, we need to get a shift on.
Yeah.
And the
Let's get
voice did
shifted.
ask you to protect its son.
Yeah, but is that the little dragon kitty?
Do an insight check. You or Kymir. Both of you can roll insight. It's a good thing that Shaefira is whispering to Kymir about this, because Shafira's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what any of this means. There's this voice in my head. Makes no sense. But Kymir's kind of like, okay, before there was that spectral dragon that appeared and protected the little wormling kid. The noisy one. So maybe this is the spectral dragon trying to talk to you. Gary said something about how he was fighting off his soul, traveling on to Delore. So maybe this was him trying to communicate before it was too late.
Okay, then if you want to keep it quiet, Cammy's just going to say, all right guys, come on, we need to get a shift on. Well, surely getting there and stopping the seal from being broken is going to be the way to protect the kid.
Well, I'm getting there and stopping the seal from being broken is like, also just not to be melodramatic or anything, but that's also how we stay alive.
True.
Like 5 birds with 1 stone, which includes our survival.
So everybody has a similar goal. It's important.
Fiends doing things is bad.
So do you head back north the way that you came and triple back?
Yes. We now know this corridor very well.
Okay. Have
that is the way to the room that Gary told us about, wasn't it? He said to keep going north.
Well, you know that I don't think Gary really talked a lot about. Did he talk a lot about? He said go north. Yeah, to where his he last saw his parents. That was very north. And you know that when you reach the most northern chamber, it was basically the nursery that you saw to the east. To the west of you, there was like another it looked like another damaged grove area. And then to the north of you was the stairs and a platform where you couldn't see beyond that point. So there's like areas where the nursery was that you haven't explored yet. And since Stiiv has this plan to go and make a better forgery of the codex page in the nursery, it's like on the way.
Yeah.
No, that was total BS. Just so Farron would give
But
us
nobody
the
in the
page
party
back.
knows that, except for you.
That's true.
Everybody seems to be like, okay, that's fair. Let's go forge some codex. So on your way traveling north, roll some stealth and some perception.
Bloody hell. Beaten by the clanking cleric.
I rolled 2 10s. What's going on with that? Hey, consistent.
Shaefira is she's like the wind and shadow, and it's a good thing because she doesn't notice anything about her surroundings. She's like so focused on being stealthy that she doesn't really pay attention to anything else around her.
I've got my eyes closed, so if I can't see anything, nobody can see me.
And here it looks like Kerithlana is being extra careful, trying really hard to be as quiet and non-giggly as possible. And she seems to be doing an okay job of it, and because of that, she doesn't really notice much of anything around her, as usual. So everybody's pretty quiet, fairly quiet. Maybe not silent as the grave, but certainly not as noisy, silly, clunkety clonk as may sometimes happen. And Stiiv, you're pretty sure that you don't see anything dangerous as you sneak back, or when you do notice something like a random little devil here or there, it's far enough distance away that you guys are quiet enough that you don't draw any attention. So you travel back the way you were before. Dave is still flippy flapping along with you.
Surprised he's not just riding in Kymir's horns.
He could be just like sitting between Kymir's horns.
Yep.
So I'm sharing that map again. The ginormous one. So you're back. You've crossed the kind of northern suspended walk corridor, the one that's over the chasm. Nobody falls in the chasm, which is good.
This is the one that had the stairs going up to the platform we can't see, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you've reached the giant jade archways, and you're back at the to the east. There's the nursery to the west. There's it looks like some more grove, and then there's the stairs to the north.
I guess we're going up.
Is that cool with everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, because when he babbled at me, I don't think he mentioned about faking the page. He was on about using it for devils and stuff. So
Oh, and if they started peeling to the side to go to the nursery, I'll point out, no, that was just total bullshit. I was just saying that so Farron would give the page back. And then point back up the stairs.
all right.
Are you
Because
are you shaking the dragon plushie that has the fake page in it now? Like, because we got the stoop now. It's
So, yeah,
brilliant.
carrying it like it's a carnival
His bait.
victory, carnival prize.
Okay. So adjust yourselves accordingly. And I'll make Dave visible.
Dave, stop messing around. Get over here.
Oops, sorry.
Why are you all back there?
Because
Reason.
you're in front.
Okay.
I mean, look at the.
There's a jade floor molded into the floor. You can see that there are these like ridges that slowly kind of graduate in a almost not quite as much of an incline as a ramp, but there's like a ridged incline, almost like a spine of a gargantuan creature, and then it leads to like there are these stairs of jade that just go up, up, up.
Okay. Can I peek to the west around that column and just make sure there's not there waiting to jump on me.
So if you run over, like, to there and peek, roll a stealth check.
Uh-oh. Damn it.
All hope is not lost. Whoops. I forgot. I forget how to do. I have to activate some things when I try to reveal map. So you see a tree has been cut down, and there's just the stump, and there's fluid surrounding it. But rather than the sort of mottled, blood-like but grotesque-looking fluid that you saw to the south, this is just this green. It looks watery, but it's all like this murky green chartreuse kind of color.
Is it psychedelic algae?
And splashing in the water, you see Dretch. And there's like a small devil amongst the Dretches with spines coming out of its backbone.
Okay, can I back up slowly?
And the devil notices you.
Bollocks!
And you hear a little squeak. Yeah! And you hear Infernal.
She's speaking Infernal.
Yes.
I'm going to say...
What are you about? What is your duty?
That succubus, I'm going to reply in Infernal, but I can't do the voice. That succubus who's bossing everyone around told me to just, look around and check to see if I could see that stupid child dragon who got away from us.
Oh, Lyra, she's so bossy. Oh. She's not nice like Malicia. Malicia.
I'll just nod. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I thought Lyra was doing ritual, yeah. What's she talking to you for?
Just because I happen to be nearby.
Roll a deception check or persuasion. I mean, I don't know if one is going to be... I think they're both charisma, so...
Yeah, they're both the same. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have my hand behind my back, just waving, beckoning at the other guys real quick.
What kind of job you say you're doing again?
I'm looking for that dragon child that's got away from Lyra. She's really not happy that she can't find.
So she designated task to you when she could have designated tasks to me.
Well, yeah, but you weren't passing at the time that I was passing. I think she's just, trying to find people to help her to, because she really wants to find.
So, like, the Spine Devil, he's not hostile. He was kind of splashing around on the stump, and he jumps down in the water, and he kind of strides forward like, hey, I'm a big guy. I'm a big devil. Even though he's really only about 3 feet tall. I'm a big devil. And he kind of like motions to like the Dretch, and the Dretch are just kind of throwing slop at each other. As they do. But they're like, yeah, you're big. You're a big devil. And he's like, hey, you got skills? Show me why you're a better devil than I am, huh? I bet you can't. I bet I could take a punch from you. Yeah.
Challenge him to a game of basketball.
Punch me. Punch me. I dare you. I dare you.
Well, I will punch you if you want me to.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I want
but-
you to
but-
punch me. I want you to punch me. I can take
but
it. You're not so
what-
tough. I
what
don't know
if-
why
what if
Lyra
I
likes
hit-
you better.
She doesn't like me better. I was just passing.
Oh, you're scared, huh? You're scared
No,
to
no,
punch
no.
me.
No, I will quite happily punch you.
Yeah, I dare you. I dare you
But
to
if
do
I
it.
get in trouble for punching you, it's your fault.
Who are you gonna get in trouble for?
Lyra.
What? She pays us to punch people.
Oh, everyone knows that she likes you.
Oh, that's true. I am really likable. I'm the best. I'm the devil. Yeah, I'm the devil. Roll another persuasion check.
Oh, fuck. Where's that pencil?
You need to get a pencil.
I have got hold of the pencil.
The thing is, the spine devil, he thinks he's the shit. And even though you're really being you're sloppily kind of like saying, you know, you're complimenting him. And maybe you're not being as deft and succinct with your words as Shaefira would do in this situation. The spine devil is so full of himself and certain in his superiority that he just gobs up every word that you say. He just soaks it up like a sponge. And he's like, yeah, I'm the devil. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. And he runs back to the stump and he kind of like turns his back on you and he's like splashing around the water and he starts chanting, I'm the greatest! I'm the greatest! And all of the Dretch kind of surround him and they're splashing around and they're echoing after him and they completely get distracted and forget that you're there.
Then I am going to back up even more. Stiiv, go back.
You just wait for me to get.
I know. Sorry, they've forgotten I'm here. Let's move back.
Fine.
So yeah, I rolled a 3 on his insight check.
Bloody hell.
All right, so that's what's down that way. You have peaked.
Yeah, so I will whisper to the guys what I saw and what happened. Do we want to just like avoid them? Yeah, probably have actually. The way my dice rolls are going downwards.
I mean, if we don't have to mess with them, maybe we do.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
thinking.
but they're
Kymir,
still devils.
roll a perception check. Okay, never mind.
Okay. God damn it.
I might have retconned something, but no, not for 9. I'm not.
All right, fine.
But I mean, they're still devils. I mean, at the same token, we're gonna have to kill them anyway, and I'd rather have them not behind us when we're going upstairs.
They did seem distracted when you left them.
I mean, if we kill the
Don't
bosses,
go
do
back
we
there
do?
while they're distracted and just
Kymir, you can do an insight check.
Ah!
Okay, so your read of that situation was this stupid motherfucking devil is so full of himself and he sucks, okay? You're like, this guy, he's obviously not the top shelf hench person. This Lyra, the succubus that you ran into before, probably isn't going to trust him with like fetching her herbal tea, much less an important job. So they've been left back here just to kind of like get lost while the really important stuff is happening elsewhere with the people who are actually competent. That's your take on the situation. You think that he's pretty distracted now because he's full of it and himself. So he could probably eagerly, you know, chant away with his Dretch buddies indefinitely.
Okay. So I guess I'll pass that on as well. Should we just leave them to it?
I mean,
Just-
if they're stuck in there, they're having fun in the playground, then yeah.
I mean, obviously, just keep an eye on them as we go up. But if they don't spot us, then we can just leave them there.
Take care of them after the big stuff is done.
Yeah.
Guys,
Who
got me in the party.
Yeah.
And while the rest of you are really, really quiet, I'm not.
I'm awake.
Yeah, she did kind of fall off some
So-
stairs and find a gong.
Yeah.
Can we
So if
disguise
you're
her?
relying on us being quiet to avoid a combat, I'm not sure it's the best approach.
All right. So I'm going to look at Steve and say, "Do you have a spell that can disguise her?"
This guy's her?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Make her look like that demon we fought.
No. I can do
Damn.
me.
Okay.
Well, maybe not to the big stinky demon.
Is
but,
anybody
like,
is anybody a druid or a ranger?
No.
No,
Nothing
pass without
useful.
trace.
Nope.
Okay.
No, unless there's a dragon mark that really wants to make a sudden eruption.
No, I don't think that's a thing that. Well, the normal ones don't do that. I don't think. Well, there's one. Yeah. Yeah, nothing's erupting. You like shake your arms.
I'm
Come on,
checking. There's nothing happening.
come on, Mark, come on. But nothing happens.
I can slap you with a tentacle like we did with Shaefira.
Beg your pardon?
Like now, it's not the time for tentacles.
So, I mean, we could just, while they're distracted, we could, go in there and, like, shoot them. Get, like, a surprise thing. Like we
All
did
right.
with Big Stinky Demon Head. And then we can not
To
stealth
set
our
up, and
way
I'll
out.
go and cause a distraction, and then you can have a go while he's distracted.
Yeah, something like that.
Kymir,
Mm-hmm.
roll insight again. You have
Touch the pencil.
you have a plan. You're like, hey. When I was talking to him, the devil was like daring me to punch him.
Mm.
So
So how about
you
if
could-
I go in and just say, "I'm going to come and punch you"?
you could like get a free first strike
Yeah.
because he
Just-
wants you to punch him.
Yeah, but you
Does it
didn't
count as
say-
an ability check or an attack?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Whether or not I do guidance on Kymir before he goes in.
Oh, that's for an ability check. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, so it wouldn't make a difference.
I think guidance is for, or is it for any D20?
It specifies ability check, so it depends what she's going in as an attack, or if she's going in
Yeah, that would be
and doing an athletics or something like that.
Or a deception or something.
Oh, we could treat it like athletics. We could.
Okay, I'll put guidance on you then, so you've got a D4 that you can add for an ability check of your choice. So if it happens to be a deception, it's a deception. If it's the athletics, the athletics. So on
It'll
and so
be an
forth.
athletics, and then I'll have the devil do a con save to see if he rolls higher.
Okay.
See if he can take it. Boop, boop. So back to the room.
Okay. So I'll start walking in and go, oi!
And much less.
Do we,
Uh,
do we know how many dredges there are?
I was getting ready to actually put them on the map this time around.
Alright. Oh, it's too late now if I've just gone in and gone, oi.
It's probably 20,000 dredge.
Kymir looks at 20,000 dredge and she goes, Lyra says hi and runs off.
I'm having
Right.
I'm having user issues.
Sorry, the cat's
There's-
throwing up.
Oh, lovely.
That's fun.
Okay, we're clear.
There's 3 Dratch.
Okay.
And now that I've remembered how Fantasy Grounds work, I'm adding them to the map. So they're splashing around. They're colored hostile right now, but they're really mainly hostile to each other. Everybody's slapping each other.
Flinging feces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're flinging feces at each other and popping each other behind on their skulls, and just in general being jerks to each other.
So are they named Larry, Curly, and Moe?
Possibly they could be something more like Lyrics, Curl File, and Mo, to make it more demon like. But Kymir, you walk into the room and you're like, "Hey, you!" And the Spine Devil slowly turns around with his spiny spines bristling, and he goes, "You talking to me? You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What do you want?"
I've changed my mind. If you want me to punch you, I'm gonna punch you.
Oh, big guy! You think you're gonna punch me?
Well, you say you're so tough.
I am tough. I am the toughest devil. I am the devil.
Uh-huh. You talk big.
I do. I talk big. You think you can punch me?
You said I could? I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah, I did. I did say you could punch me, and I could take it. Yeah, you're nothing. You punched me. I could take it.
Let's see.
And he steps forward a little bit. He's sticking his chest out. He's got his arms akimbo, and he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, punch me."
Okay. Just standard attack, yeah?
No, roll an athletics check.
Like. Oh.
Okay, maybe we should
Oh.
do an attack roll. Oh wait,
I think
add
the
your
D4 is
guidance.
gonna help.
What's guidance for? D4.
Four.
I don't think that's gonna help.
All right, so you have a 10.
Still not helping.
I still don't think that's gonna help.
So he's going to roll a con. See if he felt it. And if he felt it, then you can go ahead and roll a damage. Oh, he totally felt it. He rolled a natty 1.
Whoa!
You punch him, and his chest caves. Ugh! So your punch does like double damage.
Okay.
And he falls down. He's prone now. He couldn't take it at all. He is an absolute. He's bowled over. So do damage as if you hit him with both fists.
Why can't I roll my damage on him? Oh, okay. The delay.
I'm going to apply full damage because he rolled a natty 1.
Okay, so I do another damage roll, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so you do 9 damage to him. And he's not quite bloodied, but you see him prone on the floor, and there's this big goose egg starting to form on his forehead. And you didn't even hit him in the head, so I mean, like, what's up with that? But you hit him so hard that he's like splayed on the floor, and he's like, oof! And all the dretches are kind of like clapping and laughing, and they start throwing poo at him. So they're all distracted.
Savage.
So what is everyone else doing? So Kymir, you're kind of their god now. But what are Stiiv and Kerithlana and Shaefira doing around the corner?
Should we roll initiative to see who's acting first?
Yeah, the 3 of you can. Yeah. But if you had some kind of in tandem plan.
Plan?
I know.
We
Plan!
don't plan.
I didn't get any further than this, I'll be honest.
we have exceeded. We have just finished the plan with Kymir punching the devil.
Plan's done.
And it was successful!
Yeah, plan was cat sneak. Go attack him.
He got a good punch in. Now what? Shaefira? Now
Go
what?
ahead.
Well, Shaefira's thinking since Kymir has started something off now, I better go around the corner and check it out.
He's lulled them into a false sense of security, and he's managed to do damage to a big chunk of damage to the spine devil troublemaker guy. And they don't know you're there.
Hmm.
And what do you know? Somebody is flanking the spine devil. Kymir's like, well, not right in his face because he's prone on the floor now, but he's kind of hulking over the little spine devil.
Yeah, so I'll try and add to the damage and shoot an arrow at him, I guess.
And if you hit, you get sneak attack.
Oh, why have I got 2 thingies rolling?
Because he's prone.
He's prone.
Oh.
Wait, but why did it roll? It looks like it rolled at disadvantage rather than.
Hmm.
Because
It's
he's prone.
range weapon on.
Oh, that's
'cause he's
right.
on the floor.
But you still hit.
Still hit, yes.
So you get to roll your damage and sneak attack it. And you make. So while the dretches are laughing, and the spine devil, humiliated on the floor, flat on his butt, this arrow swoop, flies to the air, zoinks through his head, and then he's splat. Now, laid out, dead, on the floor, an arrow just kind of pooping out of one. I say pooping, like that's a verb. Well, it is a verb, but not for this situation. Poking out of his eye socket. I'm going to roll perceptions on the dretches to see if they even notice. So 2 of them, no clue. Absolutely don't notice anything happening. But one of them, dretch number 2 was like, huh? Arrow! Or at least Kymir, you understand this saying arrow in Infernal. And the other guys with him are still too busy throwing poo at each other and throwing poo at like the now deceased corpse of the spine devil. But Dretch 2 moves forward, or starts clumping forward, and is like, what's going on? So that Dretch knows something's happening. and Kymir, you can hear that he knows that something's happened. I'm going to leave the
Okay.
Dretch on the map. I mean, not the Dretch, the Spine Devil on the map. They are dead.
Arrows poking through your eye socket tend to do that.
Mm-hmm. So that's Shaefira. Are you going to move anymore?
No, I think I used up all my
Your movement get you to that
space.
position?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means Stiiv. It is your turn to take advantage of the situation.
Okay, after Shaefira went and iced the Spine Devil, I will take 2 steps forward and see that Dretch number 2 is approaching Kymir and shoot him in the face with an Eldritch Blast.
Blastify, an 11 hits.
I'm shocked.
These are just stretch. This is like the scum, the minions they left behind because they can't be trusted to do anything except for throw poo. So you do 5 damage.
Funny you should mention minions. And that's it. We're going Toby list this fight.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to shuffle around the corner.
Clank, clank, clank.
And I am going to choose this guy. Because this guy. And I am going to Sacred Flame on him.
Oh, and he really
And he
saved.
made his save. He did.
He
So,
happened to be
keep
like
going.
walking forward towards Kymir and stepped out of the way naturally, just as you would have bolted light down on his demonic little body. It was all luck. Dretch 3 rolls another perception check. And he's still oblivious. Busy throwing poo. And Dretch 1 also does another perception check. But he's caught on to, hey, stuff is happening. Bolts of light coming from the ceiling. What? So he starts to move forward. And he pauses long enough to throw poo at his at number 2. But number 2 continues to move forward toward Kymir, and he tries to bite him. Misses. Tries to claw him. And that's a hit. And he slashes at you for 2 damage, Kymir.
Okay. Can't say that his clawed me with something that was holding poo a minute ago.
Technically, it's Dave. Dave's back here with Shaefira. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? This is really suspenseful. Nice shot, by the way.
Thanks.
And Kymir, it's you.
I'm going to attack Dretch 2.
Your main hand punches with a 15 to great effect.
Damage.
Yeah, you do 6 damage.
And I'm going to hit him again, hopefully.
His face crunches a little.
Oh, I did.
And your follow-up hits even more soundly than the first. But only does 3 damage. I guess he had more padding. Like in the belly where he has a little pooch.
Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. I'm not going to.
Does Kymir need to roll initiative at some point?
Oh yeah, Kymir does need to roll initiative.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, does he? Oh, he does. He's just in the order. I reached the
Yeah,
I
there we go.
reached the zeros, I guess. So for next round, but we're top of the order, and I think we're back to Shaefira.
Right. I'll take a shot at Dretch 2.
You shoot an arrow right through him. And he collapses. Another arrow in an eye socket.
Just to assuage me, can you roll your sneak attack damage? I want to see if this is your third max damage execution in 3 sessions.
Can she do it if the dretcher's gone?
Ooh.
Almost.
It's a decent sneak attack.
It's a
It's
very
not
good
bad.
sneak attack.
And
She
that's
has
me.
control of the pencil, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's the power of the pencil.
Yes, I have been fondling it.
Are you doing any moving?
No. No. That's my turn done. Thank
So she's got a good handle on the wood.
Oh dear. Spine Devil still dead. Stiiv.
Okay, well, now that number 2's dead, we're gonna shoot at number 1.
Yeah, you hit it with 15.
Oh, that'll
Ooh.
get
Nice.
his attention.
You do a big gonk of damage with that cloud of like greenish smoke just that lanced into the chest cavity of this dretch and then yoinks back out, and there's like a couple, like maybe a spare organ, or maybe he needed that, I don't know, comes out after from the hole, and he looks visibly bloodied now. Like Dretch 1 is kind of like, ugh, what just happened?
And then, seeing that, I will step to the side and hide behind the cleric.
Kymir, now you are actually up.
I'm going to step forward to Dretch 1, and I'm going to pull out my double-bladed scythe. Because I want to play with my new toy. You didn't kill Dretch 1, did you? No. Sorry. Right.
Yeah, he's dazed but not dead. And you wickety whack him with one side of the scythe.
Well. Wow.
And as you do this, as you slash at it, let me check something. Okay, I have to do something. All right. As you strike at this dretch, the crescent on the end, not only does it slice through, kind of sinking deep into the dretch's body, once it hooks into its flesh, you see this burst of electricity. And it does enough damage that not only is there like smoke coming from the dretch's chest, but it kind of just like sizzles and collapses to the floor, dead as well.
I'm going to look at the quarterstaff and go, whoa.
So it's just Dretch 3. I'm assuming, are you moving at all? You have this weird feeling that you struck with one end, but because it's a double bladed, that if you had like if the target wasn't totally dead, you probably think you could have followed up a bonus attack with the other end.
So if I move to the other direction, I can attack it?
Same target. You're like, oh, that direction's too far away for me to hit it. But if like
Right.
that guy had still been in front of me, I could have done a follow-up strike at him.
Okay. But if I get next to it and Shaefira, if it survives Kerithlana's attack,
You can
then
move
Shaefira
next
can
to
get
it
sneak
if you want to
attack.
like set up
Yeah.
flanking or something like that.
I'm going to go down.
Kerithlana.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to move. I will toll the dead on it.
And it
It
saves.
made it save anyways.
So it may still not notice anything's going on. No, he's finally caught on that there's the tiefling standing next to him. And he looks over at you with a hand of poo. And he realizes, he looks around and is like, oh, there's a lot of dead guys. And he tries to fling his poo at you.
Can I do deflect missiles?
You can totally do deflect missiles.
Go for that!
That's
Don't
a
think I
reaction,
want to-
right? That's a key
Yeah.
point reaction?
Hang on. Sure it is. If you catch it, you can. If you catch a missile in this way, you can spend a key point to make a ranged attack with a weapon or ammunition. Do I want to do that? Do I really want to catch it? I just want to deflect
Catch
it.
the poo and throw it back at him.
Yeah, I
You
don't
should
want to
totally
catch it. I want to do the deflect part of it.
No, you gotta catch his poo and fling it back.
Right, all right. I'll catch it and fling it back at him. I'll try to.
You're like
Um,
wave your hand so fast that it's like it doesn't even have time to really contact and soil your hand. You are so fast, the force just repels it away toward the direction.
Yeah, so it says it's a reaction to catch it, and then I can spend a key point if I do catch it to. You can catch a missile if it's small enough for you to hold in one hand, and you catch a missile to. You can spend a key point to make a ranged attack with a weapon you just caught.
All right,
It's
so
part of the
you
reaction.
can make a ranged attack against the direction.
So what if I do my dart or
Yeah.
spear? Dart.
They should have the same plus to hit, I think.
It's +5 on the dart and +2 on the spear.
Oh, you're only proficient with one? What does the rule say? Like, do you treat it like you're proficient with whatever you're throwing back, or?
Hang on, go back to it.
I'm assuming use the proficient one.
It says when you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dex modifier and your monk level. It doesn't say what I do to. And then if you reduce the damage to 0, you can catch the missile. So that suggests I need to do a 1d10 plus my dex modifier
Okay.
and
Well,
monk level.
You make this attack with proficiency regardless of your weapon proficiencies, and the missile counts as a monk weapon for the attack.
Okay. There'll be a +5 when you attack back. And go ahead and roll a d10. But what's your modifier?
Oh, is the poo really gonna do?
It's not gonna do that much.
It has to do 8 or more damage for it. Roll to
Well,
even
my
matter.
dex modifier is +3, and then my monk level is obviously 4, so it's going to be a +7 to my 1d10.
I'm just going to check one thing because I think there's no way that he can. Yeah, there's no way he's going to do more, so it's an automatic 0.
Okay.
Not with
So I spend a
poo.
key.
Because it was going to just be a d4.
Right. So I spend a key point there, and so I do a ranged attack on him.
Mm-hmm. And the poo hits.
Ooh.
So roll a d4.
4. Oh, well, for all that.
For all that, you did 1 poo damage.
But at least you didn't hit me.
It was the principle of the matter.
It's the principle of the thing. A dretch throws poo at you. You just deflected it off, repelled it right back at him, and did a symbolic 1 damage. Dave flies up next to you, Steve, and he's like, "What's happening? Anything good?"
They're throwing poo back and forth at each other. It's great.
Oh, it's throwing poo now? And you see him kind of like reach around behind. He's like, "Can I help?"
Please, no.
Okay, is that not something humanoids do?
No, that's definitely not a humanized thing.
Okay, I'll just hang out here. Shaefira, you're back up again.
Right, okay. I will take a shot at stretch number 3.
Yep, you hit with a 21. And there is sneak attack damage with this. So you do a total of 12 damage. Dredge 3 is looking rough.
Okay. I'll just move slightly. There we go. I'm done.
Okay. Spine Devil's still dead. Steve?
Okay. So I lean around from Shaefira and not Shaefira, from Kerithlana, and then we're gonna do the same thing we did last time.
All right. You blast.
Let's Eldritchify the poop stain.
And the greenest smoke, again, like the other dretch before him, lances through the abdomen of this dretch. And as the smoke recedes, you see it pull with it entrails and goopy bits and more poo, and it collapses dead. So, room clear.
But hey guys,
Yay.
there were no visible farts.
Kymir, you notice on the floor that there is a, looks like a Kraken plushie.
I scoop it up. Oh, hang on. Is it in the poop?
No, it's clean. It looks like it
Okay,
got
I
dropped.
scoop it up.
It's about the size of the dragon, the toy dragon plushie that you picked up earlier.
Do we want to just leave it to one side?
And
No, we need to fondle it to see if it crackles.
Yeah, does it
Maybe there's
crackle?
something else.
when you pick it up, it does crackle. It's not the
I'll
same
run back to the
crackle
guys.
as. It's not the same as the crackle.
I still run back over to the other guys and go, guys, this one crackles too.
Stick it in the bag.
Do we want to see what's in it?
Well, if we don't know what's in it, then we can't lie. How's that for some backwards ass?
That's reality and truth.
Lie to who, Steve?
Yeah, well, I don't know, anyone who asks. If they say, hey, do you have a second codex page? We can honestly say, I don't know, no.
But do we know that the dragons have got a second codex page? What if it's something else?
Well, that Faring dude said that they might.
We don't know that they don't.
That's true.
I mean, for all we know, they could have, like, a library of them.
So you're leaving the Kraken plushie intact.
As of this point in time, we are, or I am at least, not eviscerating the Kraken,
You're gonna just toss it into your bag of holding and forget about it.
basically.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is where we will end for today.
Cool.
We did run long, but I thought that dealing with the room would be a good stopping place.
Yeah.
Shaefira is picking her arrows up.
So yeah. Okay.
And ending in stealth.
Yes, and ending in stealth, yes.
What's Kerithlana doing?
Rattling.
Sure. Cleaning your ears out or something like that.
There's a lot of carnage in this room.
Ah, dear.
Are there any other plushies?
But it's clear just that Kraken. It's
Okay.
the only thing toy you see. It's otherwise, I mean, it's furnished room. There was a tree. You see that there's like a pool of reddish sap, kind of very shallow, gathered in the stump. But everything is surrounding it. That water, it's like about 5 feet moat around it. Doesn't look cool, and the dretches were playing and throwing poo there, so who knows what's been contaminated.
Maybe that's where we should get a sample for the lizard folk. No, maybe not.
Don't
Okay.
get Verona.
And we shall see what happens next time.
Ooh, excited.
Is it too late? I don't know.
Oh, shit. Don't say that.
Well, maybe I do know, but I'm not telling.
Oh,
God
wait,
damn it.
just remember, it's not her intention to TPK us.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's not my intention to TPK. And if something bad happens, we'll just work with it. You know, you don't have to reroll.
We'll just be like a zombie or something.
We'll just deal with it. You know, if anything bad happens,
Farron can come over and cast Animate Dead.
it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
Stay well.
see you all next week.
See you all next week.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, guys.
Bye!